So we already know a few guys, right, that are now telling everybody how to do stuff. But I think each organization has to have someone like that will pioneer.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Dynamics Corner. When you get started with AI, do you use all the tokens, or are you a little bit more stingy? Because I am sometimes. I'm your co-host, Kris.
And this is Brad. This episode was recorded on May 6th, 2026. Kris. Here we are, fresh back from Directions North America with another episode talking about how you can use AI within your Business Central environment and your development workflow and process and other things. With us today, we had the opportunity to speak with another great Microsoft MVP, Miljan. Kris is punch drunk with a lack of sleep or something.
That is right. Lack of sleep.
Yeah, well, it's not good for you. It's not good for you to have lack of sleep. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hi, doing well. You too, guys.
Excellent.
Not bad.
It was nice to see you last week over at the Directions North America conference.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting conference, I would say. It's quite new stuff coming around.
Yes.
Was that your first time going to that conference?
Yeah, it was actually my first time to the US in general. So everything new for me.
Excellent. I hope you were able to get out while you were here and explore.
Well, at least it's Orlando, right? The first time. At least they've got the good weather, places to go. So, did you enjoy that? Going to Orlando?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit, whenever you go to a country first, you see the different mentality. That's always kind of refreshing for me to see how the people think on the other part of the world. But yeah, I also went to Kennedy Center I also managed to see the rocket launch.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Cool.
I remember when we were walking into the event, hearing about that. That's exciting. You hit on something that was a key point. One time I noticed I went over to Iceland and I was meeting with a group of individuals from many different countries. We went over there for a meeting. And as you had mentioned, it's the mentality or the difference. It's great to get the perspective of seeing a different culture or talking with people of different cultures in person versus sometimes what you may see or hear because of what you may see online, what you may see on the news, or what you may see somewhere else. So it's refreshing to see what that is like. Without saying too much, did it match? Did it all match your expectations of what you thought, or was it anything different? And you don't have to say if it's good or bad. I'm not asking for that. Just did it match your expectations?
Yeah, I didn't have that many expectations, except for what I have seen from movies. But I would say it's matched for the most part, I would say. Yeah.
So that's good. That's exciting that you were able to go see the rocket. If I had known, I would have taken a quick ride over there as well, too, to see the rocket. I know for you guys, I remember talking to you that night, you didn't know. You were just going over to see, and you happened to see the rocket launch. That must have been impressive.
Yeah, we just went, and like 5 minutes in, after there was like a rocket launch. So yeah, didn't expect that.
No, it's something, and you can feel it as it goes all through you, right? Were you close enough to feel it?
Yeah, I mean the sound when it comes back, especially then you really hear it, and it's it's shaking a bit, because it's and it has a delay also on the monitor, but also with the sound. So quite interesting, I would say, experience.
That's excellent. Okay, we wanted to talk with you a lot about things, but before we get into that conversation, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a Business Central developer, techie guy, so to say. Lately, been playing a lot with AI stuff. Was also busy with layouts. But generally speaking, I'm with Business Central since 2008, so quite a while. I'm also titled as an MVP, meaning I chat quite a bit about Business Central, and yeah, that sums it up, I would say.
Great,
nice.
Great. So I definitely would like to speak with you about the AI and the development and how it's helping you and some of the things that you're doing, because I think it's important part of Business Central now, not only with Microsoft adding a lot of AI features to Business Central over the last few years and individuals working with AI to help with the implementations, but there's also a lot of individuals working with the development. But you had mentioned there's a lot of new things coming out. Just to take away from the conference, what are some of the features or some of the new things within Business Central that are with 2020? Where are we? I forgot where we were right now. 2026 Wave 1.
2026.
For a moment, I really thought it was October. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I was about to say, I'm like 2025.
You also have a lack of sleep, Brad.
Last night I had like the best sleep. I had a 91 sleep score, so I'm refreshed today. So for 2026 Wave 1, what are some of the exciting features, either from the application that we saw that they had presented, or from the development, from the technical area? I always like to hear individual perspectives.
Yeah, I think, from technical, there are many stuff from technical, but from technical side. But I think generally speaking, what's the biggest highlight for me for Business Central in general is the expense management agent, and I'm looking forward to seeing it and to seeing how it actually works. How will it be accepted? It's an AI feature, but I think this is the feature that might, change how people use Business Central. I know it was developed completely using AI, and it was developed at faster pace than the other features. So I'm really wondering how will it be accepted and how will it work out at the end, in the wild, when it's released in the wild, when people start using it. So that's it, top one, I would say. Yeah.
I think to me was expense management. I appreciate you bringing that up, Malik, because to me that was kind of like almost like the story that I've been sort of waiting to hear, that a solution was released almost purely created by AI itself. Obviously, there's still a human in the loop, but that to me that was like, okay, I see the capabilities now from an ERP perspective that they released in a very short period of time, and it was pretty well done in a very short period of time. So that to me was like, okay, now we're grooving. I mean, now I see it in live of what they could do with it. So that was mind blowing for me, at least, when I saw it.
Yeah. They also adopted this new way of. I'm not sure if you're contributing actively on Microsoft repos, but they already started rolling out this workflow that they have, like agentic triage, code review, and everything.
BC quality, I believe that was the repo.
BC quality, yeah. But even before they released it officially, they started using it on their repos, on the issues created for their repos. And I'm also kind of keenly waiting to see, I already see some interesting stuff, like the stuff that get caught by agents in development process. So I'm also interested to see how that will roll out at the partners.
I think it may take some time for the adoption. I mean, for some, it was. I've had many conversations with many partners about the technical portions of Business Central, primarily development, while I was at the event, and partners are at different stages of using AI in the development. Seeing how the BC quality workflow works, I appreciate that and I like it. I have been doing that, or had been working with that over the past couple of months, a similar process, and it does work well. But the key is you have to know what it's doing from a high level at least, and then be able to review it. So I like how the BC quality will have the Microsoft, I use the word rules or instructions, the community instructions, and then partners can put their own instructions in there as well. to help monitor the code that gets in there, because you have to make sure that you properly test. Just to say that something was developed by AI doesn't mean it was perfect, nor does it mean it's not good, because again, Microsoft was open enough during the event to state that the expense agent was written, I think it was 90% by AI was what they had mentioned, or some number. It was still a significant number, and it only the period of time it took to develop was 6 months in that period of time, or from like idea to release, I think.
Yep.
That's what I recall from the discussion. If I'm incorrect, then it's just my old age.
I think you're right. It was like the moment they talked about it, all up to the delivery in terms of the development was like very short as well. So I think that's pretty impressive for what they were able to show in a short period of time.
Yes, and it does show how you can expedite the development process of features within the ERP or for PTEs for customers. Not everything can be done fully by AI at this point, but it's nice with the assisted development and to be able to basically build your own rules with it to help with the quality of code, which is something that I think we need.
Yeah, for sure, I would say. I mean, looking at the partner code, that's something that's desperately needed. It's just the question that you already asked is about the adoption pace.
Yes, it's tough, I think, from the partner point of view, because it's almost the equivalent of changing the wheels on the bus while it's moving in some cases, because the partners are working with customers and they're trying to continue through the process, that you do have to allocate some time or some resources or some individuals to focus on that, to set that up, because it's not something you can just say, I'm going to clone the repo, throw this into my workflow, and everything will just be fine. It's something that really needs to be understood.
I think that's key, Brad. I think that's key. I think that's key, because like if you, with all these features coming out for smaller partners, it's a little tough. So for maybe a slightly larger partner, you do have to invest the time. So meaning, as a partner, you have to at least have one person to say, okay, this is what you need to learn. 30 days, maybe, just like building a habit, right? So 30 days is all you need to do. Help us build a framework, spend that, invest that time, and then come back together and say, okay, where can we where can we transition to this workflow? I think that's going to be the struggle, because as a partner, you want to, you got to bill your time somewhere. You got to make some revenue. So that's going to be an interesting balance.
That's a whole different discussion, but it is having individuals focus on it is helpful. And from what I found, it has to be collaborative as well, because everybody will have different ideas. It's not even ideas, like you have to take everyone's ideas, but it's all so new and there's all so much that's changing, that having different perspectives in the process is important. But one thing that I have witnessed firsthand is the consistency in an organization on how you're doing it. Because if people are using AI in development in your organization, you want them to follow the same flow, not have someone going down one road and another person going down another road, because then it becomes more difficult to manage than it would be if everyone's just doing code on their own anyway. I think it magnifies and accelerates inconsistent processes if you don't have a standard workflow. So
exactly. And I think the challenge will be in the following period, actually finding out which people are going to be those managing, introducing the processes, right? So we already know a few guys, right, that are now telling everybody how to do stuff. But I think each organization has to have someone like that will pioneer the way through the adoption.
Yes. And it's changing fast. And I wonder, you work with it too. What are some of the things that you're working with it? Because then I have some questions on that as well.
Well, primarily, I'm using the GitHub Copilot so far. I also have played a bit with the Cloud Code, and I use it. Currently I'm developing either stuff that are for one partner I'm working for, or for another project I'm working on, or for Microsoft actually as a contribution. And in all of those different projects, it's a challenge for me to have the one rule that applies for all of those. That's why I like the idea that Christoph talked about in Orlando about having these. How did he call it? I forgot. But basically, the game that's
gamification.
Yeah,
gamified it.
That blew my mind. I sat with both he and Tine Starch as well, and my mind just went.
Have you started already playing with it, or you plan?
I have it planned out. We just got back some days ago, and I had to get caught up. I think, when did we get back? End of last week? This weekend?
Thursday. Yeah, last week Thursday.
I'm in a time warp for some reason. I do have planned out what I want to do with it. And I spoke with both of them. I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with both of them at the conference as well. And they were able to share with me how they architected that. And I've plotted out the game that I want to replicate from my youth. And I'm going to try to set that up. Yeah. So how about you? Have you done anything with that?
No. I generally have a constant feeling. My aha moment with AI came somewhere around the end of the last year, actually. And I think I'm still, I think there is still a lot to learn for myself and to explore. And I feel like when I hear Christoph or somebody like that, I feel I haven't explored enough so yet, to be honest. And I'm also attending the Jeremy's course on agent development, just to get different perspectives and to try different stuff out, because currently it feels like I'm just burning all the tokens that I have available. I am achieving pretty good results, I would say, or let's put it this way, my code is less buggy when the AI does it. And I think I'm at a mark that probably 95% of my code is written by GitHub Copilot, actually.
That's wild. That's crazy.
With that, you're saying 95% is created by GitHub Copilot. How did you are you using GitHub Copilot straight, or did you use any of instruction files? Did you create any instruction files, create any agents, are you using any of the ones that are available? A lot of people are doing it. And just to go back, I feel like with you, I have been pretty deep into it since the end of last year. And I've been doing a lot of things and working with a lot of things with AI. And then I went to the conference as well. And I was I don't want to say comfortable. I don't think anyone can be an expert because it changes every day. Something new comes out every day, and this technology is new. But I was comfortable with saying, I have a good understanding. And then I was talking with others, like you said, like with KB and with Tine and a few others, and I just went, I don't know anything. I really felt like I was I don't even know what I'm doing. And I thought I was doing a lot. But the point with that is everybody's at a different level and applying it differently. And it is a new technology. I will say a year ago, if you hadn't started with it, you had some time. I think we're at the point now this year. If you haven't started with it, you're probably starting to fall behind as well. But to go back to the question of how did you set that up as well?
Well, I actually I haven't used many instruction files. I knew always that it existed. So right now, as an MVP, I have the access to the Pro Plus version, like you do, which means a lot of the tokens, how they call it, professional credits or something like that, are available to me. So right now I'm burning it completely, switching between those reasoning models and the normal ones. And I don't have much of a setup. As I said, I have 3 different projects. It's always different challenges. So I'm just starting to explore how to exploit subagents and instructions more. But so far, I would say I was just, I wouldn't say excelling, but managing to write my requirements properly. And right now I'm in a phase where I'm figuring out, okay, sometimes when I'm developing, I often repeat stuff that got wrong during development. Maybe I should have now a sub-agent or a skill for that purpose. But I'm not there yet. That's my thing. So I'm currently using it without much of a setup, and that's what I would recommend everybody who's starting. Try without setup, because it works actually also without the setup. Yeah, it will burn the tokens. It will, you'll sit after the first week and seeing that you don't have any remaining, but you should start.
Yes.
You did say something that caught my attention. When you start out plain, to start working with it, to use it, to see what it does, to see what the different models do. The instruction files, the skills, the sub-agents, the agents, again, whatever term you want to use, right? Because every day I think I hear a new term. That's where I personally struggled at first, because I saw a lot of things that everybody was doing, and I just felt overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, I have to use this file. And I really didn't understand it. Yeah. But by starting base, as you had mentioned, you get the point to understand the platform. You get to understand how it works. And then those files seem to start making sense. And 95% of your code being done without any of those additional setups, that's rather impressive. And it can be done.
What's your statistic? How far are you with that? Have you managed to?
I am. I'll say I'm almost near 100%, and I use the near 100% because sometimes things will come back that don't work properly or look properly, and I make the decision. I always review it, and I have my workflow is I'll have the tests for it. I'll create I'll plan out what the modification needs to be. So I'll go through the whole planning phase. Then I'll break it up into smaller issues to complete it. And then I'll set the agents to go through and do the work, right? Planning. I do have a planning agent. I do have a working agent. I do have a reviewing agent. I do a lot of the documentation with it, but I don't use an agent for that because within that framework, I still can do it. Once the code is there, if I look at it and there's something in what I feel is incorrect, and sometimes it's incorrect because it won't even compile, rather than prompt it to fix it, if it's faster for me to change it, I'll change it. Then depending upon what it is, I may add it to a rule so that hopefully next time, which seems to work. So now it will have the agent that's working on the task will have a little more experience on what to do. But
I got a question for both of you really quick. So when you're mentioning all the agents, Brad, and Miljan, if you're using agents as well, for all the little tasks, to save, maybe have a different models for those agents. The last component's always documentation. Obviously, you can have an agent create a documentation, but right now, Brad, you said you may have done a manual documentation in terms of like screenshots. Do you know anyone that has used an agent to create screenshots for those? Like click here, do that. Or is that still done manual? Because obviously you're going to have to hand it to somebody that's like, follow the screenshot kind of deal. But I don't know if anyone has used an agent to create the screenshot. I'd be surprised if anyone's listening to this. Let's see.
Yeah, I have heard somebody. I think when I was in Nordics, there's Knowledge Nordics. That was a month ago. I cannot remember who told me, but somebody started playing with it already, making a mechanism that will, try to look. Based on instructions, go through the interface and then make screenshots. I'm not sure who told me that, but I think people are already playing with that.
I've heard several different people have done it with different ways. Playwright, you can use Playwright to run, to record a screen and do it. I know Duilio has done some presentations on how he was able to build and take screenshots and build documentation and instruction manuals using page scripting. Even when we did the page scripting session, he went through the example of how he was able to have an agent create a user's guide, including screenshots, using Playwright and that stuff. So
interesting. Okay.
People are doing it. I haven't done it for the screenshots yet. How about you?
Me neither, but the question, the playwright, does it mean that somebody has to actually click on the interface? The human?
No, based on page script though, right?
No. I think you can do it autonomously to pull the information out. I haven't worked with it to do the screenshots, to be honest. I've worked with Playwright only in the extent of page scripting, not from the respect of coding. But I know individuals are pulling screenshots, even in some of the groups that we're in. They talk about it. It's documentation. Far better documentation than I've ever created, or any other developer that I've created, or any other consultant for that matter. It may not be 100% perfect, but if it comes back at 90% and it gives you a nice detailed document, and I have a few minor adjustments to make, I'm happy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I definitely haven't had contact with that yet, but I would love to know more about who's playing with it.
Yeah, there's so much going on with it, so that's it's an exciting time to say the least. I feel like I've never been busier than I have in my life, and sometimes I have to go back and say, what am I busy doing at some points? Because sometimes it's having fun. Just, a lot of those things that I never were able to, a lot of those things I was never able to do, I can now do, where it would have taken weeks or months to complete. Now I can get done in sometimes hours or days.
Exactly. But do you feel you have more spare time? Because I don't.
It's a misconception, right? Like everyone thinks like, oh, there's this AI supposed to do all these things for you. I think a lot of us that loves the product or just love building things, when you have a new tool, you always want to play with a new tool, right? So you always want to do something with a new tool. So you lose that time. I mean, just like it's, for example, when I got a motorcycle, I just want to get on a motorcycle all the time because like it's a new thing. But yeah, no, I don't have a lot of time. You want to play with this thing. You want to do more. So it's so fun.
That is I think the common message from a lot of people that use it and get into it is, any free time that I have, a would gain, I'm able to now do the things that I was not able to do before. Because if you want to create a note-taking app, or if you want to create something else, you can now do it in a faster pace. So you can get more. You have more time to do more things, and it's almost like feeding a fire. So it's to answer your question, no. I do not. I have to remind myself to get up and stretch and to eat and to do stuff sometimes. So
yeah, I share the sentiment.
It's good that you're working with it though, and you're doing some other things. You said you're working some Microsoft stuff as well too. You're doing contributions.
Yeah. So generally speaking, my work is predominantly connected to the German market right now. I have done some fixes in relation to the local formats being applied there for electronic exchange of invoices. It's called Rechnung or Zugpferd, if you have heard of it. If not, that's also fine. I'm also, that Microsoft is also changing a paradigm regarding the layout. I mean, changing, let's say, they don't want to have the hard cut, but we can clearly see that the direction is set towards swapping the document layouts with Word layouts. That's also a topic where I'm kind of familiar with. I'm wondering, for example, that area, to which extent can AI help you with creating new layouts? And I think that's one of the areas which is not yet fully covered with this AI workflow yet, but I think that might also change, I would say.
I would think so. So have you used AI in any of that at this point? Or
Yeah, I did. And my impression is it can already do RDL quite decently, because RDL is already HTML formatted. I think it struggles more with Word, generally speaking. I mean, depends. I mean, when I say struggle, it can actually create really good looking layouts out of the box, but then the mapping is more trickier part, I would say. So I would say the workflow is not 100% covered yet, because I think the AL development is already covered, I would say, and this area is not yet covered. Right. And I would definitely like to see it covered. Imagine that, like you are saying to the Business Central, your topics. Here is the check. Here is how it looks like. Build me a word layout, and map me the fields in there, and take care. Dimensions are important. They should be precise. That's what in the ideal world, what would AI should bring us as a quality. We're not there yet. That's for sure. But yeah, some of the stuff that I'm thinking about right now.
If it can do a US check, which I will always say, I still don't understand why we use checks, but if it can do a US check, that would be rather impressive, because for some reason, after doing this for decades, I still don't understand why checks are so troubling. And it's not Business Central, it's just replicating the check, I think, for some reason. And sometimes people just get stuck on having a particular check format. I don't understand it. Versus me, I would say, okay, I can buy stock. This check fits it. Okay, done. But some people like to have.
But we don't. I mean, let's forget the check. Let's say that in any country or in any partner, there might be some customer-specific report or layout that they want to print out. I mean, labels, whatever. And that's what I dream of. Like, here is the prompt. I may give you something that looks appealing to me, and bring it on. Right, here is the data set. Design everything, because I think a lot of the time partners charge today is, at least in Germany, is related to the reports themselves. I mean, and not only in Germany, but like all over the world. And if we could, get that out of the way, that would be next step forward, I would say. In context,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Checks are, I mean, not checks. See, I get stuck on. Reports are a big part of some of the implementations, and having a way to make that easier. Custom report layouts was one step. Then adding the word add-in was another step to making the transition to having even back up doing report extensions to some extent. All these things helped make the reporting easier, but I think seeing it where you had mentioned that AI can now work with the Word document. I haven't experienced it, so if it can do it, or if anyone else that's listening has done it, we'd like to hear about it. But I think that would be great. Or I was even just thinking as you were speaking, even having an RDLC to Word. I don't even know if it'd be possible, but conversion or some type of setup would also be great.
Yeah, so I tried it out. I would rate it like, I don't know, 60, 70% success rate. So you still have to fiddle it a bit. I mean, not a bit, but more than a bit. So sometimes it produces the RDL, which cannot be compiled. The mapping in word layout, I haven't succeeded yet. But still, I would still apply it and then like finish up the rest. So at this point of time, I'm just saying haven't made the complete journey yet.
So you haven't gone the full path with it, but it still helped out enough to where it was a good start, where it wasn't. Sometimes you go through these exercises and you say, wow, it's so poor that I have to spend more time fixing it than if I were to just do it myself. But you're saying that from your experience, it's a good starting point. Yeah,
that's my opinion. Yeah. I mean, for start, I don't know, Claude can already chew up. I mean, the prompt that I gave him is like, here is the invoice from the Business Central. How it looks like, it's a bit, how do you say, old-fashioned. I want a peeling invoice in the word layout, and it spit it out really good. So the Claude can already do quite a lot with PowerPoint, Word, and so on. The missing link is, connect it properly.
Now my mind's going. Well, I'm sure that you'll be able to get that. It's a good journey for you to explore, and I'd be interested to hear the results of how far you get with it as the technology increases as well.
Yeah, let's see.
You're one of the few that loves to do reports.
I wouldn't phrase it that way. Let's say
I thought everyone loves reports, right?
I don't know whether we can make that statement for anybody. It's just, some topics land on you at some point in time and you want to get them done.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Some people are more successful on avoiding the topics. I'm not. So
because it's in front of you, you gotta get it done.
I won't say it too loud, but I've been very successful at avoiding that topic for some years.
Someone's gonna ask you, Brad, the next time you go speaking session.
Good for you.
No. I can count how many reports I've created on one hand in the past year or two, maybe two, less than two hand. Maybe one hand. Thankfully.
Well, if you do everything right, you probably will not have to touch them, because you'll just say, "Give me what I need," and that's it.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I've always primarily focused more on the data portion of it, being able to have the data that someone else can either write the report or they can use the information somewhere else to report and analyze their data. So I'm not touching that project to get AI to do word layouts, but I think it would be a good one to see. And I know, again, as you'd mentioned, that Microsoft's making a push to replace a lot of the standard customer-facing documents, as we'll call them, from RDLC layout to word layout. From my understanding, there isn't a date that says RDLC won't work. Anybody that has RDLC reports will still be able to create those. They'll still be able to work with those. I'm sure as technology advances, though, RDLC will fall off because it's my understanding that they're not doing a lot to improve it as well.
It's actually not even the Business Central topic at all, right? So it's not the Business Central team that's maintaining it. So I would say it's probably a bit out of their hand. I mean, I think they will support it as long as they can.
Yes.
Because they don't want to lose customer because of that. But I think they are not controlling the plug.
No, I don't think so. It's a different team.
Yeah. And the other topics I'm dealing with right now are the performance, for example, stuff. And I think I have looked at the stuff that Torben did with this web app that can analyze profilers. And that's something also which I see potential, right? Imagine yourself solving performance problem by giving, the food to some of the tools which will tell you what to improve right away without you having to think.
That is a big place. I know there's many initiatives now that are all working towards having AI analyze code, analyze telemetry, to be able to help identify non-performant code and ways to improve the code, which I think is extremely beneficial. I support all those initiatives because I think that Business Central is a great application, and maybe because I've been using it for decades now and I've been in it for decades, and it's how I've made my career, basically. I want successful implementations. And if you have non-performant code at an implementation, it can make a customer extremely unhappy with Business Central. And it's not even the Business Central application that's the problem. So having tools that allow developers from anywhere, from ISVs, partners, customers, anybody who's developing with Business Central, having the tools to analyze the code to be able to help identify performance issues helps the product, because customers will be happier with the performance of the product. Because I think we've all heard, this is slow, this takes too long, and all those other things over the years. So it's great to have tools now, or in the works, to be able to help mitigate some of those performance bottlenecks.
Exactly. And yet, for example, to explore, I'm not a telemetry prof. I'm not sure. Did you deal with telemetry so far?
I've worked with a lot of telemetry. I did not. It's on my list now to work with Waldo's BC telemetry tool because we have a lot of telemetry. Unfortunately, I have a lot of things on my list to do, and that list.
AI is supposed to be making better, Brad. Come on, it's supposed to be faster.
You still, yeah. It's.
I'm just messing with you.
No, I know you are. It's one of the next things that I want to look at, and then
exactly. It's also a topic where I'm also falling behind. That's my feeling right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've been using. I'm used to doing a lot of KQL and stuff like that. But from what I understand, to not have to, to be able to read the telemetry logs through the MCP is exciting. So I'll probably set that up next week. Is my plan. Because I'm going to bring back an initiative that we have to better utilize telemetry.
Yeah, I think that's, I think the whole community actually should work. I mean, improve on that area, generally speaking. My feeling is actually not that many people are not that many partners are really onto that, but they should. Yeah.
100%, because the telemetry, you can identify many more. I don't want to say problems, but I will say problems. You can identify many issues quickly within telemetry, with identifying code that's non-performant or identifying other issues. It's even issues outside of code. I think you can identify because you can capture errors that the users are making as well too.
So for telemetry, I mean, I haven't really played with telemetry at all in Business Central, but in passing. So if you were to work on telemetry and having an agent read the telemetry data, you could probably perhaps take an agent and look at maybe some patterns that are kind of weird, or it's something that's out of whack, and create issues out of it as well. So then you can immediately take action against it. And maybe automatically create GitHub issues and say, hey, look, based on telemetry, we see these weird patterns that's happening around this time. Rather, right now, I mean, I'm assuming everyone's gonna looks at the telemetry and says, oh, okay, I think maybe that's an issue. It's sort of a manual process right now. I think what's everyone doing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, it's you can use it to be proactive. Telemetry is always one of those things you could use to be proactive if you had the right dashboards, if you had the right queries set up that you could run and monitor. But with AI and then utilizing some of these tools, you could absolutely, again, be proactive. So you could identify issues. And I use the word issues loosely. You could see code that needs to be refactored. You could see other things with telemetry. I'm not going to try to list all the things you can identify that you can, again, as you had mentioned, maybe if you make an issue for someone to take a look at, or even AI take a look at within the code, will help make the customer have a better implementation. And when I say customer, it's not just partners, not just ISVs, it's even customers that have their own internal development team. They can take advantage of these tools as well. So it's anybody that's in that space. It's tough to keep up with all this though.
Yeah, true.
This is why we don't sleep, because we have to keep up with not only AI but all the features in Business Central that keep changing as well. So it's challenging, I think.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything outside? Like, I know with all this AI, there's so much to do in Business Central with some of the AI Copilot, using Copilot, Claude, and things like that. Are you guys doing anything outside of that? I mean, I'm not trying to add more things to do for you, but are you doing anything outside of Business Central?
Well, I know I mean, with or without AI. I mean, I have personally, I use GitHub Copilot. I use Claude Code, but also Claude Web App. It writes me everything actually. Whenever I want to phrase anything, it's basically no longer. I mean, like if it's in text, it doesn't go without AI review. I also have Gemini aside because I have a phone where I mean, there was some Samsung promotion and you get Gemini automatically. And currently I use them in parallel depending on the needs. I guess most of the people try to use what works the best at that point of time. I mean, the paradox is actually, yeah. Do you have like 3 or 4 different subscriptions?
Yeah. I use Claude and GitHub Copilot are the two frameworks that I use. And the models that I use, I primarily use Opus and Sonnet at this point for my tasks. The other ones I haven't used in quite a while. So yeah, I do have, those are the subscriptions I use. It's tough to try. I think I just stuck with those. I try them out, and I'm like you. I use Claude, the web app. I use Claude Code to do everything. I have it do everything. I was looking at to move. So when I was looking at properties, I'd feed them the listings. They'd come up with this nice checklist, this nice chart. It does everything. It's amazing. It gives you like a nice portfolio. It can do research. And then as you go through the properties, you tell it you're at a property. It will start asking you questions. You can tell it what you want, like even with voice, because on the phone, you can record and go voice to text, and you can use voice. And then it just continually adds this nice document portfolio. AI is so much more than development.
So you're doing fun stuff outside. You're building things outside of just Business Central. It sounds like you're doing personal projects.
Absolutely, I am. Are you as well?
Yeah, for myself, I don't do Business Central is the main focus for me. I mean, but what I would like to try is Claw, right? Setting up something at home, doing some stuff. I know a guy that will help me out. But other than that, let's say I have used it. I have been on some sessions recently, and I'm going to some more. And I use it for PowerPoint, generally speaking. And I think it all basically depends in which area of I mean, what's your focus on? I would say in life. And you probably can find an application how AI could help you. Probably. At least that's for me like that. So, I mean, even my kids started criticizing me. I mean, they already call me JGPT, although I don't use it any longer that much. They make fun out of me. And it's also a funny effect. I have also heard a podcast about the fact that, people, when you use AI that much, you kind of stop thinking yourself at some point of time.
That's true.
It can be counterproductive when you use AI, let's say. And that's also something that's not widely spoken about, but basically that's also a side effect of less stimulation for our brain is when you let them think everything.
That's a very good point. It's like the calculator. It's when I was younger, when I was using an abacus, and I had to do math in my head, and I could do math really well. And now, because of the computer and the calculators, ask me what 10 divided by 1 is, and I have to think for a moment. But you can do other things to hopefully stimulate your mind to give it some excitement, because as you said, if you just let AI do everything for you, then there's no fun in that. It's fun having some thoughts and creating and architecting and designing, but the way we're developing and creating output's going to change. Just imagine, you'll have to tell your grandkids or something. I remember back when I was developing, we had to write code. Just think about that.
Yeah. I mean, it will be even more funny. I think you're spot on, because I have heard, interesting statement from Jeremy, and he said, I mean, not only probably that's already being discussed about. I mean, the languages that we use today for development, they are built for humans, right? But will we see in following years the languages that are developed for AI that we will actually not be able to read at all, because we can read the languages that are built for us, but they are probably not the most optimal for AI. Will we see?
I think so. I think so. I think we'll go back, because following on that conversation, yes, I took assembly language in college too. But you think back with assembly language was written directly for the computers, and then you had IDEs and compilers that translated that information and created executables. And it was just easier for people to program instead of remember doing pop, 10, push, all those other things that you had to do. I think you will have that point. And someone I saw something, or I had a conversation where someone said, no one checks the executables. We all assume that the compiler is going to build the executable properly based on the code that it received. I do think we'll get to a point, we're in this transition period. I do think we will get to that point where the human language will be what you speak to a tool, and that tool will create the executable that does what you want. Right now, we're thinking like humans, right? We're assuming that the AI is going to create the human text and the human literature. But I think it will get to the point where it will be able to work with just what it needs to take over the world.
I remember reading an article right around that where they had two agents. To be more efficient communicating to each other, they created their own language. I'm pretty sure there's an article that I read about that, and I thought it was pretty fascinating that it created its own language because it was not efficient enough. So it decided and say, okay, for us to communicate together, let's create a language where we can be more efficient in how we communicate. And I'll have to find that article, but I thought it was pretty fascinating that eventually it'll come to a point that that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
That will be that'll be an interesting time. And then, then we'll have the world. I don't even know, like all those old movies that we've had. But no, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us this morning. It was a great conversation. I could talk about this stuff for days. We really do appreciate you taking the time. If anyone would like to contact you to talk a little bit more about AI, reports, word layouts, how to get them done, or anything else that you're doing, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
I have a blog. Just go to my blog, to the contact form, or send me an email on miljanrs@outlook.com.
Excellent. Great. Great. Thank you. And look forward to seeing you again soon. It was great meeting you last week in person. It's great. We see all these individuals within the Business Central community from all parts of the world, and you have communications with them. You see some of the stuff they're doing, and it's always nice to finally get to meet people in person. So
thank you, guys. It was fun. I think it's always fun talking to you, and thank you for what you're doing for the community. I think it's really putting some value to everybody interested in this topic.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon and talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kris, for your time for another episode of In the Dynamics Corner Chair. And thank you to our guests for participating.
Thank you, Brad, for your time. It is a wonderful episode of Dynamics Corner Chair. I would also like to thank our guests for joining us. Thank you for all of our listeners tuning in as well. You can find Brad at developerlife.com. That is DVLPRLIFE.com. And you can interact with them via Twitter, DVLPRLIFE. You can also find me at matalino.io, MATALINO.io. And my Twitter handle is Matalino16. And you can see those links down below in the show notes. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and take care.